welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. So I've just returned from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs have won yet again under Antonio Conte. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Crystal Palace 0. Goals from Harry Kane, Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son. A convincing win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Spurs are now up to 5th in the Premier League. And that is now 6 Premier League games without defeat under Antonio Conte. I've got 3 very special guests to talk about today's game. I've got Craig, I've got Leo, and I've got Lee with me. Craig, let's start with you, channel regular. How are you? Merry Christmas. Did you have a nice day yesterday?
Yeah, lovely day. Thanks, Chris. Merry Christmas to you and everybody watching the channel at the moment and all over the world, I'm sure. We've got reviewers coming in from everywhere, don't we, on this channel? It's amazing, actually. Yeah, really good day. Really good Spurs win. Again, really good, solid performance, which we're getting to. Looking forward to talking about it.
We've also got my very special guest, Leo the Lion, of course, a former singer with the Streets. Leo, Merry Christmas to you. Had a good day yesterday?
Mate, I'm stuffed, man. I've been eating loads. I must have put on at least a whole 8 stone. I ate everything yesterday, mate. But yeah, man, Christmas has been great. And what a gift the Spurs guys gave us today.
Absolutely. I tell you, so many people have said the same thing to me today. I've eaten too much. Yeah. I've put a stone of weight on in one day. Yeah. Lee the Dorset Spur. Lee, welcome back to the channel. Of course, you run your own YouTube channel called Lee the Dorset Spur. For any of the viewers that don't subscribe to Lee currently, do head over. Lee, nice Christmas. How are you?
Hi, Chris. Yeah, hi, everybody. Yeah, I had a great Christmas. I went over and spent some time with my daughter, who looked after me and the wife very well. Played some stupid games, drank a couple of beers, and got home late last night. So, yeah, no, it was a good day. Good day.
That's what it's all about. Craig, let's start with you then. Let's talk about today's game. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Crystal Palace 0. We've got another win under Antonio Conte. I tell you what, I love this feeling right now. It just seems that, whenever we seem to play now, we're winning matches.
Yeah, it's great to feel like that again, isn't it? Yeah, I feel exactly the same. It's like the hope's back, isn't it? And I know it's a hope that kills sometimes, but the hope is back. And there's just something different feeling about this club at the moment. And looking at it, I must admit, I looked before I come on. We've got exactly the same amount of points after the same amount of games this season as last. But I think the feeling's totally different, isn't it? There was a kind of feeling you was almost just ready to trip up. You couldn't really see us improving that much, if I'm honest. And it all hinged. The only thing a lot of people seem to be worrying about was when we're going to see that front three of Kane, Bale and Son. And of course, now it just seems there's more players stepping forward and stepping up to the plate. It seems like Conte's got everybody playing, And I was a bit gutted again, and I can't believe I'm saying this, that Harry Winks wasn't given a bit of a run out, because I think he's deserved it. The amount of times with what we've said about Harry Winks on this channel, but fair play to him. He's been superb the games he's played. Dele Alli, I was a bit gutted he didn't get on for Delhi today. And who'd have thought that 6 to 8 weeks ago we'd be thinking, oh, leaving Ben Davies out, that's a risk. That's the Conte effect right there, and he's got everybody playing well. There's a few players I still think that I'm still not 100% sure about, but when you're keeping the squad rotated, seems to be everybody's hungry again and wants to play football. Kane's got a smile on his face, and it's just a great feeling. And we got a big month in January coming up. We get past Southampton and Watford. Everybody knows, under no illusions, January is a huge month for us when you look at the fixtures we've got. And of course, we've still got those 3 games in hand, which won't mean anything unless we win them. But if we do, we're in a very good place.
Leo, let's come to you. Your thoughts on today's game? And I love that phrase that Craig used there, because I use it a lot myself. The Conte effect. This 8 weeks under Conte, he has transformed this club, hasn't he?
Absolutely. When you have a manager like that shows so much passion, shows so much determination, especially like on the side of the pitch. As a player, if you're serious, there's nothing you have to. It's going to affect you. Unless you're dead. So he's the type of manager that demands work, demands people to put it in 100%, and because he does, he feels like he needs to go and take a shower also after the game, because the way he's going bombing up and down the pitch, orchestrating, telling people to go there. He's actually the 12th man, or the 13th man actually, because obviously the Spurs fans are there. But he's literally come in and just transformed the whole team. Every player looks like they want to play. Every player is running more. Every player is like putting in hard tackles and really showing that they want to be part of the team now, as opposed to how it was literally 6 or 7 weeks ago, where we were just, every fan was like, their hands in their head, like, what is going on with our club? And he's literally transformed it. It's night and day now, you know. And the feeling, I've got that kind of feeling like how I had when Pochettino was in charge, where the fixtures would come up and we would be like, yeah, we could win that, you know, Or even if we went down, we felt, we could come back, you know. I kind of have that feeling kind of brewing up again, and I speak for lots of Spurs fans that were really, really excited.
What do you think that difference is, Leo? Why do we feel like that again? Because I feel exactly the same.
We feel that because we can actually see the passion. We can actually see how we're playing. We understand. We can understand the formation. We can understand how players are moving, what role they're supposed to do. We see it on the pitch. When we lose the ball, especially when in possession of the ball, it's like we have options to pass the ball. We're doing good one-touch passing. The build-up play is there. We're not making as much mistakes as well, especially losing possession with the ball. I mean, when what's his face? Who was our previous manager? Nuno.
Nuno, yeah. You've forgotten him already.
I've already forgotten him. There you go. It's old news. It's old people news. What's his name? When he was in charge, you know, we couldn't even string 5 passes. We couldn't do that. You know, we get the ball, we've lost it immediately. We were very defensive. We were just sitting back. Teams were just attacking us, and it was just the amount of how long before we concede. You know, we were expecting to make mistakes, to concede goals, but now we just feel in control. We just feel like, you know, we're here to play a game. Every player, like I said, has got a role. Every player looks and feels like they want to be involved, like they want to work hard. And like I said, if you're playing and you look to the side and you see Conte there, come on, you can't hide now. You can't hide in this team. And I think that's what it is. I think that's what's missing. That was what was missing, but I think we've got it back now.
Lee, let's come to you. Your thoughts on today's game, and have you forgotten about what's his face as well?
Yeah, what's his face? That's his new name.
No, listen. It's a totally different atmosphere now, isn't it? Things are just totally different. And as Craig said, I mean, I looked at the team sheet today. No Ben Davies, and I was like, "What? No Ben Davies? What's he doing?" So he brings in Japhet Tanganga, and I'm thinking, "Oh, hello," because of that. What happened when we went over in Palace and stuff like that. But then it just worked, you know. And every player now seems to have that confidence that they're going to be okay. I mean, if you think about it, we took off Kane, we took off Son, you know, and you're thinking, really, we could do that, and it didn't hurt us. I mean, that's something that I haven't felt for a long time. That nervousness when you're taking players off, you know, your key players, and these players were players that we were all going, got to get rid of them. They're done, finished. Get rid of them, move on. We need quality. Now you look at them and thinking, actually, they can do a job. Yeah. They might not be the quality that we all crave, but they can do a job and are doing a job. So Conte has obviously seen something in him to move him into that direction, you know. Like Craig said earlier, Harry Winks, you know, who would have thought, you know, you'd have liked to have seen Harry Winks coming back in because, you know, 6 weeks ago we were all saying, you know, ship him out. He needs to go to Watford or somewhere, you know, because he's not quality. And yet in them couple of games, he's shown that he can do what we need him to do. So, you know, I mean, the guy's working magic as far as I'm concerned. I mean, things are just totally different now. And, you know, long may that continue, that confidence, because that's exactly what we need. You know, I'm fed up with sitting behind the sofa watching football like this, you know. So, you know, a great feeling today.
Lee, Conte come out and said himself that he's not a magician. You've just mentioned that word magic. You know, he's definitely a magician because he has turned this club around, transformed the club just within 8 weeks. We're now in and around the top 4, you know, games in hand over the top 4. And of course, we've just got to a Carabao Cup semi-final as well. You know, all of us are just so high at the moment, aren't we, you know, in energy, because he seems to have energized the players and most importantly, energized the fans. You know, it was a low attendance today. It was a low attendance against Liverpool and West Ham, but it's probably the best atmosphere I've known at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this calendar year. and that is all down to Conte.
No, absolutely. And if he's saying he's not magic, when you consider the difference in Eric Dyer,
yeah,
now he's pinging balls left and right and pushing himself right up into the opposition box. What are you doing, Eric? And that guy, that's got to be magic. It's got to be magic if you could get Dyer to do that, right? But I agree with you. I mean, the atmosphere. I mean, against Liverpool, the atmosphere was electric in that stadium. I mean, we didn't stop singing the whole time. And today there was only 40,000 there today, but you wouldn't have thought it. Watching it on the TV, you wouldn't have thought there was 40,000 there today, because the atmosphere sounded great, So that's the effect, and the fans will react off of the performance. If you're playing good football and you're showing determination and passion, then the fans are going to be passionate and determined, and they're going to get behind you. If you're playing, Mourinho ball and Nuno Dross, then you're going to get that. You're going to get that from your fans, aren't you? You're going to get them sitting there going, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" I mean, there's a guy sits behind me, and under Nuno, he kept shouting out, "Yeah, pass it to Hugo. Hugo's free," because all the time the ball was going in this direction, So fans react to what they see, and if you're seeing good football and passionate football, it makes you passionate. It makes you care again. It makes you get involved in it. You feel it, and you can feel the players feeling it, and that's what you want from your players, right? You want them to care as much as you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as I said many times on this channel, I think I watched half the game now just on Conte, and I have no doubt that the Conte cams going forward will be extremely popular amongst the Spurs fans, because people just love to see the passion from our manager, and I don't think I've ever known such a passionate manager. Of course, I love Pochettino, but he wasn't that passionate on the touchline like Conte. It's fantastic to see. Craig, let's come to you. Lee mentioned there about Conte getting the best out of players. Isn't it so pleasing to see, and particularly that you have had so much time on this channel talking about a lot of Tottenham Hotspur defeats in the last season or two, but when players are given opportunities, they are really taking them right now, and it's very evident. If we talk about the last three games, the Liverpool game, the West Ham game, today, all these players seem to be taking opportunities that we haven't really seen in the last couple of years under various managers.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, what is that down to? You have to ask that. Is it the players just not wanting to play for certain managers? Is it the? It's got to come down to the manager ultimately, isn't it? People are blaming this, that, and the other. But he somehow managed to get the players to want to play for Tottenham. And as far as I can see, certainly the ones I've seen, everybody still wants to play for Tottenham. I can't put it any other way than that. Sorry, are you getting feedback on my speaker? I can hear a lot of feedback. Sorry about that. If you can...
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what that is. I'll try and sort that out in a minute when I go off. It's amazing, the Conte effect. I never thought it'd be this good, to be honest. I knew it was going to be an upgrade on Nuno, of course, and as Leo said there, he just forgot the fella's name. I mean, I'm not surprised, because it is like the Nuno era for me, and I'm sure he's a lovely chap, but it was almost like a nightmare, wasn't it? Looking back, it was like, am I really living this? It just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and it was just a disaster from minute one. And finally, Daniel Levy saw sense and got the manager that seems to have instilled this belief in the whole team again. And to be honest, I haven't seen this belief in the whole squad coming through since peak Pochettino, if I'm honest. If even during the Champions League run, which we all agree was a bit lucky in parts, and the Mourinho era, looking back, I can't even say that there was much. You couldn't really watch every game and believe that we were actually going to do something, where I have got that belief back now. I'm under no illusions that we're going to win the Premier League or anything like that. But wow, if things go well in the transfer window, I'm not expecting loads of incomings, but I think he'll have his eye on 2 or 3 players. And if we can get 2 or 3 in, and they're decent quality signings. I mean, I've heard Vlahovic and De Ligt, and De Ligt seems to split opinions, but I'll tell you what, I'd take him, because I think Conte would make, let's face it, if he can give Eric Dyer confidence and turn Eric Dyer into what I think is a very good defender who should be pushing for the next England squad, then what's he going to do with De Ligt? He was one of the best young centre-backs in Europe when we played against Ajax. So it's all good. It's looking good. I'm trying to not get carried away, but the future is looking rosy. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's funny, Craig, how you should mention signings when Antonio Conte seems to be getting the best out of all this squad at the moment. Leo, how do you see that going? I'm going a little bit off topic here. We'll get back to the game in a second. But of course, we've got the January transfer window coming up. Will he actually be going out and looking at many players now, knowing that he's getting the best out of some of these players already just within 8 weeks? Imagine what it's going to be like in, say, 8 months.
Well, it's a funny thing, because before when Conte came in, I really didn't want. It's going to sound weird, right? But I was so frustrated and peed off with the players that I didn't want them now to have a positive reaction because I wanted them out. And I felt like if the players had a positive reaction and everything was going really well, then we won't sign any players in January because Levy will be like, well, mate, look, you've done a good job. Stick with the great players we have now that you've turned them into. And the reason why I didn't want that was because I just didn't know. I didn't understand, and I didn't like how these players were able to not perform and were just drossing up and down the pitch because it's the same players. And so if they could turn it on because Conte's come in, that means they had it in them all along. So the question is it that they had it in them all along and just because the management that they wanted to put it on, or they just were fed up with the manager and decided not to play? And if it's those type of players, then that's, I have a concern for that. So that's why initially when Conte came in, I didn't want these players to all of a sudden turn it on because I wanted them out. Now, obviously, I'm happy. I'm excited that they're putting it in. I'm excited that they're playing well. But I hope that in January that we do definitely bring in some players because the jury's still out. I mean, we're still performing. We're performing fantastically, but the jury's still out. I'm still bruised from previous games, And yes, I'm excited, but I don't want us to get carried away. Like Lee said, we shouldn't get carried away. Craig said we shouldn't get carried away as well. I'm happy. I definitely want us to buy more players. I hope Levy can see that, yes, the players are playing well, but we do need to invest. We need to bring in a couple more players in defense. And literally, we need about 4 or 5 more players. Whether we get them in January or not, I think we need about 4 or 5 more players in the squad to help us, keep a push for the top 4 and probably next season challenge for the title. And I believe with Conte we can do that because he's a no-nonsense manager, And just wanted to say one last thing, with Nuno, I'm as much as I'm going to use the word despise. I did despise him.
Who are you talking about? Sorry,
I'm talking about Nuno. I mean, I did despise him, not as a person, but as a person, if you know what I mean. And but I'm grateful for him because he showed what we needed. His lack of enthusiasm, his lack of ideas is what we needed, what Levy needed to see for him to go out and get Conte. And I think that if it wasn't for Nuno, we probably wouldn't have Conte. If Nuno was just all right, and the fact that he was absolute dross gave us, it's kind of like, when your girl's when your girl says she wants to leave you, right? And you're like, babe, what's going on? And she goes, no, I'm not having it. You're rubbish in bed. Bye. And she dumps you, right? And then all of a sudden she goes out in the field thinking it's all good. She meets some guy, or that guy turns out to be absolute dog crap. And then she goes, actually, you know what? Let me get Leo back. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what happened with Leo. He signed Nuno thinking she was the hot mini skirt, high heels, all of that business, big boobs, complete failure. Then he realized, you know what? Let's get the big dog back in. Let's get the lion back. and that's what he done with Conte.
That sounds like experience to me, mate. That sounds like that's never happened to me. I've never had a woman walk out of me sound rubbish. Never happened, man. That's down to you.
I was going to ask you, Lee. You know, how do you follow that?
Mate, that's never happened to me, so I can't. Yeah, I can't use that analogy. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not even having it. But he is absolutely right. In a lot of the previous stuff he said. Obviously.
Do you know what, Lee? It's so nice though, isn't it? That I come away from that stadium tonight feeling like it was quite easy. Tottenham made today the performance and the result. I think they made it look easy today.
Well, that's what I meant by not having to sit behind the sofa and dreading it whenever there's a substitution. Do you know what I mean? You're sitting there thinking, well, he brings on Ndombele, and you're thinking, oh, okay, that's all right. Or he's bringing in Stephen Bergwijn, for instance, who gets a lot of stick, but he come on, he done his job, no problem whatsoever. Japhet Tanganga coming in at sort of in that centre back. And you're thinking, okay, and it went really, really well, So for me, I'm happy with that, to have that feeling of a little bit of strength in depth, which we weren't feeling before, right? We weren't feeling that, as Leo's saying, right? He's hurt by those players' performances with the previous managers, and I absolutely get that, absolutely agree with it, and I think, having a couple of games where they're playing well and it's starting going the right way, is that to fool us into a full sense of security that we don't need any more players. So I'm thinking, no, you still need to get out there, and you still need to put pressure on those guys to know that you can't just drop back and go, I've got another contract now, or the window's closed, I'm all right for the next 6 months, I'm just going to take it easy and so on. He needs to have that push on those players, so they have to keep performing. They can't just do it for a little bit, because if they didn't do it before, but they're doing it now, shows that they could do it, but they weren't doing it. So that's a big question. That's about their mentality and their attitude. And you don't want that, can I say, shit attitude in your club. You want the passion, you want the belief, and you want the heart, because that's what we demand as fans. We pay a lot of money for this. We pay a lot of money to go up there every week to watch the football, right? So you want your players to recognise that and to go out and fight for their place and put the performance in. Yeah,
absolutely.
Craig, let's come to you. Let's talk about the starting 11. What did you think of the starting 11? Hugo Lloris in goal, back three of Sanchez, Dyer, Tanganga, and then Emerson Royal, Sergio Reguilon, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Oliver Skip, and then the forward three of Lucas Moura, Heung-min Son, and Harry Kane. Me personally, I wasn't at all surprised to see Tanganga in this starting 11, because when you think about it, the game earlier on in the season under Nuno Espirito Santo, where we lost 3-0 at Selhurst Park, Tanganga was actually sent off. Him and Wilfried Zaha had a big argument. They were niggling at each other the whole game. Emerson Royal, very similar with Zaha as well. So I wasn't at all surprised to see him in the starting 11. But like you said earlier about Harry Winks possibly being in the starting 11, what do you think of the starting lineup?
Do you know what? I'm actually not bothered who's in the starting lineup at the moment, and that's I'll be honest, that's massive kudos to Conte as a game, because you know we've all had it throughout the last couple of seasons where you've got your first 11 and we've come on here and we've said, oh, if he plays so and so, we're in trouble. I've got so much confidence in I would say 90% of that squad at the moment, especially against, with all due respect, teams like Palace. That he could have put out whoever, to be honest, in my mind, Chris. That is honestly how I feel at the moment. But I thought it was a really good move to put Tanganga in. He would have told him, don't bite, basically, because Zaha was winding him up all game, and just don't bite. And again, do you know what? Davinson Sanchez, I thought he was great today. I really thought he was great, and. That I can't see any negatives at the moment, which I don't think ever I've come on this channel and there's not been anything negative we can say about the squad or the team or the club or anything. I'll be honest. And so I don't think there's a team he could put out at the moment where I would say, don't like the look of that. The only one who I've got the only one I'm still not sure about is Lo Celso. That's not saying he's a bad footballer. I just don't think he brings enough. And like I said before and here many times, I don't know what his best position is. That's not to say he would let the team down or not put in the effort. I just don't know what he is. But apart from that, I think everybody else in that squad, I would feel comfortable playing at the moment, whoever we're playing, more or less.
Yeah. Leo, let's come to you. Same question. Starting 11, are we happy?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with Conte can call me up and say, Leo, I want you to play right back, and I'll have confidence in him. That's how much confidence I have. And I've got a bad leg right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he can play Lloris partnering with Kane, and I'll be like, oh, Conte, he knows something. That's how much confidence I have in Conte right now. It's like when I saw the lineup with Tanganga, you know, I kind of thought, okay, is he doing it because of the previous game when he got sent off, or is he doing it because of rotation purposes? Because we've got a lot of games coming up, and you know, so we have to be wise with who we're playing, and if we can come out of this winter period with not that many injuries and people not too fatigued, especially with Harry Kane, which I was happy that he came off in the 60th minute. I think it was, you know, guys, go out there, try and see if you can get a good lead so we can rest some players, which is what we did. I think probably for the next game, he's probably going to bring in the likes of, you know, I'm forgetting everyone, like Delhi and players like that. I did like the fact that he brought in Gil. I really like Gil. I saw his promo video when we signed him, and he was like, for me, I thought we were signing Messi. You know, the way that he was dribbling, and you know, he's yet to show that, but I think he needs some games to come in and adapt. But apart from that, I think it was good. I mean, you know, I hate using these words. I'm trying to find another word. Craig, you're gonna have to find me another word. I don't like saying despise, but I'm not really that much of a fan of Sanchez. However, you know, he's not been making that many mistakes, and so I'm like, okay, because he has the ability. He's got pace. He's got a bit of strength when he's got strength, and it's just that I always feel like whenever he's on the ball, he might make a few mistakes that may lead to goals. But recently, he's been, you know, the defense has been fine. We've not been struggling. Dyer in defense, it's just looked solid. It's just looked compact. We haven't looked stretched. We haven't looked like, you know, we're under the cosh like most of the games that we've watched when what's his face used to manage us. So yeah, like I said, Conte could put anyone. Conte could put my mum in midfield, and I'll be like, oh, Conte, you know what? I can see what you're doing and holding mid, yeah? Trust me, you know, and that's it. So I'm all good with Conte on that one. That's my answer, Chris.
Lee, does your mum want to play midfield as well?
No, she's more of a right winger, to be fair, than centre mid.
Do you know what, Lee?
Her legs are gone.
What was really pleasing for me, and this happened the other night as well, you know, very, very early on, you know, after a couple of minutes, Heung-min Son had a shot on target, goalkeeper saved it, and then shortly after that, Oliver Skipp had a shot as well, went wide. You know, think back 7-8 weeks ago under Nuno Espirito Santo, we weren't even having a shot on target. It just seems now that Antonio Conte has drummed it in all of the team's head, you know, whenever you've got an opportunity to have a shot, because we are having a lot of shots, 17 shots in today's game compared to Palace's 4. We had 6 on target, and Crystal Palace didn't have 1 shot on target today.
Wow. I don't know.
It's confidence, though, right? It's confidence. I think, you know, if you're playing in a team that's doing well and you're believing the players around you are doing a good job and are solid, then that breeds that confidence to have a go and to do something like that. I mean, you just talked talking a little bit about Sanchez and about the lineup, but you know, how many times have you seen it mentioned about Romero? No one's mentioning the fact that Romero is out and has been out for a while with a big injury, because we're playing so well. We're not currently, and I'm touching wood, missing him, right? So it just shows the difference in Sanchez, in the fact that we're going to say, well, we've got Sanchez in, and no one's going, God, I wish Romero would hurry up and come back, and so on, because we've forgotten the guys off injured. you know. And it's the same with Hill. You know, I think the guy deserves an opportunity to get into the team at some point so we can see what he's got. Because for me, if in the bit of time that he played today, he didn't stop running. He didn't back out of a challenge. He kept going and he kept going and he kept going, you know, and he needs that time, you know. And I know Craig mentioned Lo Celso. Lo Celso hasn't really played yet, so we don't know what he's going to do, where he kind of fits into it. So I think there's still a lot of positives around the squad that we've got. The only one for me that I worry a little bit about, and I know he did a cracking pass the other day against Liverpool. For me, I'm still not sold on Ndombele. I still don't think he's given us what I would expect from him, because we've seen him play and we can see what quality he's got, but I'm not feeling that passion and that commitment and that drive from him yet. And that's the only bit that I'm kind of a little bit worried about. Is kind of seeing something come from that, you know, because I still think we need a creative midfielder. We still need someone in the middle there that's going to pull the strings and you know, spring those balls about and that kind of stuff. So, you know, for me, I think we're going in the right direction. And with Conte, he's just created this confidence and belief in the squad that's just oozing. You can just see it from all of them, and that's why they're doing the things they're doing and having a go, you know, because they feel that they can trust the player behind them or next to them. Whereas before, under Nuno, I don't think they all knew who was supposed to be doing what. I don't think they had a clue where they were supposed to be going.
Yeah. Craig, let's come to you. You know, I've said many times that I want to see the wing backs putting in as many crosses as possible. I felt that Emerson Royale probably had his best game in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt today, and of course Lucas Moura played extremely well today as well. And I think that he will probably get Man of the Match award. But after 25 minutes, a chance for Spurs, Reguilon to Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura just headed wide. But great to see Reguilon putting crosses in. And, you know, I think all of us are going to expect our wing backs to constantly be putting crosses in, because that's exactly what Antonio Conte uses this system for.
Yeah, absolutely. Reguilon seems to, what was great for me is, well, all of them, but especially Reguilon, he was still going full throttle at 90 minutes. You know, It was almost like the same fitness levels as Poch. And he come out after Conte had been there after a few sessions, and he said, He said, words to the effect of, like, he's dying in training. You know, the sessions are so difficult. But he said, the guy there said Emerson's crosses got better. That's the only picky thing for me. There's a couple of times when Emerson gets in positions. I wish he'd try and go past his fullback on the outside and get a cross in, because a couple of times he's just not got the crossover. He just hits it against the defender, and he was up against a pretty quick defender today at left back. I'll give him that. But I just want to see his crosses improve a bit, because if that was Trent Alexander-Arnold, you can bet your life some better deliveries would be coming in. And I think that's what they need to work on, is those crosses. I think you're right. You can clearly see that's what he wants to utilise the wing backs for, but they need to give that supply line, you know, a better supply line, and it will come. I'm sure it will. They'll work on those crosses. It's an easy thing to work on, isn't it? If you can get in the positions, then crossing the ball should be the easy part. But I'm sure he will improve. Whether they're going to go for another wing back on either that can play either side, I don't know. You could say we're quite loaded in those positions, especially with Sessegnon. I've been quite impressed with Sessegnon when he's played, to be honest. I thought he's got a chance of pushing Reguilon, which is what you want, isn't it? You want two on each side. That's what we need. Rumours that we might go back in for Trippier, I could think of worse, to be honest. But again, that's kind of going back and saying, why did we sell him in the first place? But there you go. That's Tottenham for you, isn't it? But yeah, it's all looking good, isn't it? There was one player I thought of that I'm not quite sure about, going back on myself, what I said earlier, and that's Matt Doherty. I'm still not 100% sure about him, but even he had a better game the other day when he played. So, you know, hey, it's Conte effect again, isn't it?
The thing is, Craig, I know you and Lee have mentioned like the Celso and Ndombele and now Doherty. You know, you pulled out 3 players there, but all of the other squad, Antonio Conte has improved them. So, you know, 3 players. He's only been there for 8 weeks, so I'm sure he's got a long time, you know, ahead of him to improve those 3 players, and you know, I'm hopeful of that. Leo, let's come to you. Let's talk about Tottenham's first goal in the 32nd minute. Harry Kane finished off. He loves to score on Boxing Day, so I wasn't at all surprised to see him finish and the ball hit the back of the net. But the ball actually started in our own half. Emerson Royale played in Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura gave it to Harry Kane, and Harry Kane does what he does best, scores a goal for Spurs. Talk us through that goal, because it was a great team move.
It was a fantastic move. To be honest, I think we all, as Spurs fans and all the pundits, really have to give it up for Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura is probably one of the most underrated Spurs player that we have. He is incredibly fantastic, and I've loved him since day one. His pace, the way that he was able to, because I thought that the defender was going to catch the ball when Emerson played him through, but his pace was electrifying. His vision to set up Kane, and Kane just took it right foot, fantastic, just no chance. But Lucas Moura has really, when you talk about the Conte effect, I would say it's begun with Lucas Moura, because Lucas Moura is now scoring goals. He's scoring some incredible goals. He's driving more. He's been more consistent. His jump, the way that he can head the ball as well. For a man that size, he should not be jumping that high, and he does it so week in, week out. He gives 100% all the time. So we have to show him some supreme praise, and I think he should definitely get man of the match. The first goal was incredible. We put pressure on them. They made the mistake. The defender was out of place. Emerson played it through. And it was just like a race for the ball with Lucas. Lucas just put on the afterburners, and just the way that he caught, I was even surprised. Like, wow, I thought he was going to not get there. He got there, he crossed it first time, and Harry Kane, you know what he does. And what I really liked about what's happening is Kane he's kind of central now. He's kind of like in the central side of the play. And he's on the end of things now. He's inside the box. He's looking to finish those chances. And I think with a player like that, come on, if we can get the crosses in from the wing backs, and also the other strikers like Lucas and Son or Bergwijn all contributing, mate, it's a deadly attacking that we have. So the first goal was amazing.
Lee, let's come to you. As Leo said there about players contributing as well, because there's so much pressure, and there has been for years now, for Harry Kane to produce the goods all the time. Although he scored our first goal, Lucas Moura was involved in all 3 goals today. So it's great to see players like him stepping up.
No, absolutely. I mean, Lucas Moura has always been a bit of he kind of splits people's views on him, because we all love his passion and his endeavour and his work rate, but he does run up a lot of blind alleys, as we've called it out before. But he seems to have kind of turned the corner a little bit, and he's getting his head up and he's playing those balls. He's linking up play a lot better. So, I mean, for me, I've always liked Lucas Moura because of his passion. I always want a player to give their heart. I know I keep saying that. But his goal today, to start that move off and to get himself in the box and get above the defender and just rocket that header in. I mean, it was a fantastic header. I mean, you don't see them kind of headers enough. Not in my opinion. I love seeing stuff like that, right? So for me, I think it's great to see him contributing and to be able to take Kane. I mean, when was the last time we see Kane taken off after an hour when you're only 2-0 up? I mean, I've sat there watching games when we've been 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go, and I'm still shitting whether we're going to win the game or not. You know what I mean? So to be able to take your
surely not today,
score off, no, not today, and that's what I'm saying. But to be able to do that is amazing, isn't it? You bring on Steven Bergwijn, who were all, a few weeks ago we're saying he's finished, send him back to Holland. I was going to say Dutchland then, but I mean Holland, right? But he came on, he done his job, he done what he needed to do, he got involved and all the rest of it. We got the 3rd goal against 10 men. And it's not easy playing 10 men because they just become so compact, because what they don't want to do is get absolutely mullered. What they want is to hold it off. A 2-0 loss is a 2-0 loss. We're not going to win this game, but let's not let them score again and again and again and again. We only got one more goal. But One more goal. Son tucks it away. Lucas Moura involved yet again. I mean, what more does the guy need to do?
Yeah. Craig, let's come to you. As Lee mentioned there, the ball was in our half again for the second goal just 2 minutes later. Lucas Moura then played it to Harry Kane, to the Emerson Royal, and then Lucas to head home. Another fantastic goal. And, seeing this entertaining football that we all want to see as Tottenham Hotspur fans, I say it again, the transformation under this new manager.
Yeah, it is. I mean, to be honest, I thought we did start a little bit slow today. Not that I was ever concerned or worried, to be honest, but I'd just like to see us start a little bit quicker on occasions. But once we grew into the game, as Lee said there, that header of Moura, I was actually off my seat. It was incredible to see. It did remind me. Do you remember that Ronaldo goal he scored at Man U the first time he played, and he just comes, full pelt running in, sprinted half the pitch, and just you thought the defender was going to head it away, and he just powered this header into the net. You're risking yourself getting a putting your head in there, aren't you? Clash of heads or whatever, and it was great to see Lucas Moura doing that. I want to see him do it more and more and more, to be honest with you, because it's clear he's got it in his locker. And he, we spoke about players that have improved under Conte and winners under Conte. Moura is quite clear to see he's extremely important to Conte, and if he keeps putting in performances like he has the last two games, if we get to a final, there's no way he's going to be dropped in a final. He's going to be the first name on that team sheet. And I've always loved Lucas Moura. He just seems like a genuine nice guy that loves the club. And that's what the fans want to see, isn't it? That passion that actually players that try, and throughout this whole manager debacle we've had over the last year, he's always been the player for me that's always tried. He hasn't always had a great game, but he's always gives 100% for the shirt. And that you can't buy that. When you look at Ndombele, if you could bottle what Moura's got and give it to Ndombele, Christ, that's what you need. But unfortunately, you can't, and it's got to ultimately be down to the players that and they've got to want to do it themselves, or else they're just not going to play under Conte. They're going to be out the door, aren't they? But he's just instilled this belief throughout the team. I say it again, that he seems to have this magic touch that everybody wants to play, which is just great to see. I can't really put it any other way than that it seems to be bleeding into the fans and everything, doesn't it? It's almost infectious. Is that Conte effect infectious? I'm watching the press conferences again. I'm watching the interviews after the game again, which I didn't do under what was his name? Leo? What was his name? The other manager, the other fella with a beard. Oh, no, that's it. No, yeah, that's him. And I'd just like to comment. Lappas in the comments a little while ago said Chiellini speaks impeccable English. Thank you very much. I've been working on it, so I'm glad my results are showing through and my hard work's paying off.
Yeah.
Well, Lucas Moura after today's game said we're improving so much as a team and we all believe. And Antonio Conte said, I've told our players that we have to make our home powerful and a fortress. He is certainly doing that even after 8 weeks because we are unbeaten there. And the only game that we've drawn there under Conte was the Liverpool game, which, of course, we probably all agree that we should have picked up the 3 points and taken out opportunities. Leo, let's come to you. Question on screen now from Thomas. So thanks for your comment, Thomas. Does the turnaround in player performance vindicate Daniel Levy somewhat? Were we too harsh in judging what he's done in the transfer market?
I think we've definitely been harsh on Levy. Levy has done an incredible job for Spurs, and I think a lot of fans will probably think, "Get Leo off your channel, Chris. How dare you bring this traitor in for saying such blasphemy?" But I think Levy has, because when you look at it, he's tried. He's spent money. He's got a new stadium. We're proud owners of a new stadium. He brought in Pochettino. He brought in Mourinho. He brought in Nuno, which was a masterstroke, and then he also brought in Conte. So it's not like he's not trying. And I think with a lot of fans, we got to understand that there's a balance. We want our teams to win. We want to buy the best players. We want to succeed, of course, as fans. But as a club owner, there's other things that you need to balance. It is a business. They need to do certain things that we may not be privy to, and make certain decisions that we may not like. Craig, are you doing that because you're thinking Leo's chatting rubbish?
No, seriously. No. I'm intrigued. I actually agree with you.
Talking rubbish. Let me just.
Yeah. Get Leo off. Yeah.
No, so I think you know, and you know, he brought in players like Bale. You know, he's trying. You know, there has been times when I thought, yeah, get Levy out. But then who are we going to replace him with? Who's going to come in that we're going to have to build that trust? We don't know what their 10-year plan might be. They might sweeten us for a year now, and then, you know, it'll be like Manchester United owners, like the Glazers or like Arsenal, that team across the place, you know. So yeah, I'm happy with Levy. I think he's doing a good job. We should cut him some slack. We're happy. He's made us happy. We cried, and he came and mopped our tears and says, "Here you go. Here's Conte." And we went, "Oh, thank you, Papa Levy. Thank you." So we got to cut him some slack, don't you think?
No.
Lee, do you want to come in on that?
Oh, mate, honestly, I think you're just saying that because you just want to get this chat on the side going mental. Because
talking about?
I can't believe it.
What are you going to do?
Lee, let's put it another way. I think that a trophy needs to come to our club very soon, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Listen,
46 minutes in. That was your record, Chris. 46 minutes.
Listen, you got to look at this from two sides, right? Daniel Levy as a businessman and what he's done for Tottenham in terms of the structure and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. And I think you've got to put your hands up and say the guy is making oodles of money, allegedly to go back into the squad and all the rest of it, right? And there's some great stuff. I mean, the stadium and all that kind of stuff, right? But Daniel Levy is the master of his own problems, because Daniel Levy was very, very lucky with Pochettino. I don't believe that he knew how good Pochettino was going to be for us. He just wanted to take someone young, someone who could, deal with a new squad and all the rest of it. Then he gets rid of him because he was trophy hunting. So he brings in the biggest name in football under Mourinho and delivers up a load of dross. He loses him just before a final and brings in this guy who we all keep forgetting because there was nobody else available, right? He takes us so far down that the only way you can go is with Yaz and go up, right? The only way is up, and things can only get better. I'm spouting lyrics now, right? But Daniel Levy, I don't want him to go. I've got to be honest, because I don't think the club could do with the instability of a changeover and all the rest of it. But you've got to understand that guy brought his own problems and created his own problems for our club, and and that's never a good thing. That the players, getting the players in that we got in, it wasn't working, and so there was a desperate need. And I think for me, this is his last throw of the dice. Getting Conte in is like, this is it now. If you don't get a trophy under Conte, mate, you've got nowhere else to go. You've got nowhere else to hide.
But I'm sorry. I don't agree with the Aparici guy. So that's even more long term than bringing in Conte. That's kind of like setting the base of success. No, he's brought in.
Yeah, no, I agree. But he needs to step away from it now, then, and let Paratici do his job. Let Paratici do his job with Conte. Get your head somewhere else. Get some naming rights. Go and find another beer to sponsor us. Go and get a new T-shirt or something. Stop sending me adverts about buying a new mattress or whatever. Just concentrate on that side of the football. Let Paratici and Conte do their job and deliver the trophies. Get your money out and start spending it where we need to spend it.
So do you think if we win, you would give Levy, you say, all right, well done, Levy, or would you be like, yeah, what else you got for me?
No, I'll never say. I'll never be kissing Levy's bald head. I'll be singing about Conte, and I'll be singing about Paratici and the players and the club. But I don't.
Everything that you brought in.
Nah, not for me.
There's no need to mention the lack of hair, Lee. Come on. There's no need. Christ.
I think though at that time, if there was any manager that Tottenham Hotspur had to appoint, it was Antonio Conte. So you know, that is a huge positive move. And you know, all joking aside, I think that game against Manchester United, where the fans sang to Nuno Espirito Santo, "You don't know what you're doing," and of course that very next day he was sacked, and then the next day Antonio Conte was appointed. It's probably going to go down as our game of the season, because that has transformed our season and given us all belief to win a trophy. Lee, let's stay with you, because I was going to ask this exact question. So Simon, great timing and great question, and thanks for it. Conte's made a solid unit again. Not seen dynamic movement, intensity like this for many years. Surely top 4 plus a trophy is realistic now. You know, if I was to ask you this question, Lee, 8 weeks ago, can we reach top 4? Can we win a trophy? You would have probably laughed at me. But it does seem realistic now, doesn't it?
Chris, 8 weeks ago, I was always laughing at you, honestly. So that wouldn't have changed. That wouldn't have changed. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's like chalk and cheese, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, 8 weeks ago, we were looking at it going, if we survive mid-table and don't get relegated, I'll be happy this season. That's how I was feeling. It was woeful football. We were heading nowhere, and that's it. You know, so to look at it now and go, well, actually, a trophy is dog's going mad. There is a trophy that we could.
Even
get
your
to.
dog is telling you the trophies are coming, Lee.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Shut up, bloody thing. So yeah, so you know, for me, I think there's great opportunity there. You know, it's always difficult. It's always difficult. FA Cup is always going to be a difficult one, and that's the one I'd love to see us win again, because it's a special trophy, you know. But
yeah.
I think there's a chance, you know, and with the Carabao Cup, you know, you're always going to have difficult teams to play now, you know. So having to play Chelsea, bring it on, you know. Let's see what we can do. Let's test ourselves to see where we can get to, you know. So I absolutely do think we get an opportunity. Top 4, I think, is a really odd. It's a really difficult one to answer, because there are so many twists and turns, and so many teams can beat so many other teams, and you just don't know what's going to happen. So, and it's all still very tight, especially with all these games being put off. So it gives a bit of a false sense of where you are. So, but you know, it's not off until it's off the cards. It's still on the cards, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Craig, how are you feeling about it?
What about Lee's dog? Or what?
About do you feel a lot more confident about top 4 and a trophy now? Because of course, you know, I know I talk about trophies on every single video. You know, I want to win a trophy just so I don't need to keep talking about them.
Yeah, well, I think you still would, to be honest. But you know, that's my fear probably. But yeah, look, we're all like it. Christ, I'm exactly the same. You know, I lived through some dross in the 90s, as we've said on here many times, and then to go up there, and now we're coming down, and then now we're on the way up. I think you know, it's definitely achievable. We've got to think that, haven't we? We've got to think that the trophies are coming now, because we've got an opportunity this season. I think that 4th spot's up for grabs, and even you know, if we win our games in hand and beat Chelsea, I think we're level on points with them. So you know, even catching Chelsea shouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility. I still think 4th is about probably where we are. But let's you know, if we have a good January, then there's chance there. There is a chance there. You've got to, that's what Conte does to you. I would not be feeling like this if Nuno was still in charge, and I was never completely sold on Mourinho, as you know. So this appointment, you know, I don't think any of us do, but you shouldn't underestimate what Conte could do for this club. But he's got to be backed. Levy's got to step back and let him get on with it. Let Paratici get on with it as well. Be very interesting to see what we do in January, as I say. But summer is the big one for me. I mean, if we can somehow get top 4, and then give him a transfer window in a pre-season, you know, wow, you know, keep him happy. Whatever he wants, give to him. Then this club is going in the right direction. I think we have turned that corner. You know, it's been said many times, you've got to hit rock bottom before you start to climb, and I think we have with Nuno. And you know, I'm not slagging the man off, but that's where we were. Let's face it. And now we're on the way back. And the interesting thing is, I saw this earlier. You know, Melvin, I think, tweeted it. Said this is apparently West Ham's best squad and best ever season for ages. and we hadn't been brilliant for the first, God, what, 9 games, and we're above them now with 2 games in hand. And that shouldn't be like what you want in life, is to finish above West Ham, but it's just proven a point. You know, we're in a good place at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. Absolutely. So much positivity. Leo, let's come to you. Now, this debate comes up a lot, especially in the pub. You know, the comment now on screen from Peter: trophies are great for the fans, but the club needs top 4. If you were to choose Tottenham finishing in the top 4 this season or a trophy, what would it be?
Someone's asked me that question before. It's trophies all day long trophies. And the reason why I say that is because with a trophy, you've won something. You know, it's now in your DNA. You feel like you feel like a winner. Top 4 is just a position. You know, a trophy is something that the following season you can defend. You feel like it's yours. You know, you want to defend it. You want to protect it. You've got the badge. You've got it now. You know, and I think it instills more of a winning mentality into the squad, into the whole infrastructure of the club, as opposed to a top 4 position, because we've won top 4 many times, and it's fantastic, but I don't think it would change the dynamic as much as if we actually won a trophy. And I think if Conte actually wins a trophy, whatever trophy is, I think this will be the greatest achievement he's ever had, you know, because he's actually done the inevitable, the mission impossible. He's come and done it, and I think that he can just retire now, and they would make a film on Antonio Conte, and this would be his most coveted prize. So definitely cup. Trophy. Sorry, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but without a shadow of a doubt, I'll pick a trophy more than top 4.
Lee, I want to ask you the same question, because in the comments now, it's very, very mixed. Some people want top 4. Some people want a trophy. You know, some people want to be a part of the Champions League again. And it's funny, I watched some old videos the other day from a couple of years ago. And it's funny, I suppose I always felt that we would always be in the Champions League. And of course, last season in the Europa League, this season in the Europa Conference League, it's going to seem strange to me, you know, from December all the way until August at the earliest, that we're going to play European football again. Where do you stand on this? Being part of the Champions League or winning a trophy?
Well, Chris, I think if you remember, if you go back to when we were playing at Wembley, when we first met and we first started doing videos, you asked me this question, right? And I said then, and I'll still stick with it now, trophies all day long for me, because winning trophies is what football's about. That's the point. You go to football matches to see your team win, and at the end of it all, if you see them winning a trophy in a competition, it is the best feeling. Now, lots of fans have been brainwashed by Sky TV and BT Sport and all these people that top 4 is like some magical gateway to this fantastic football that you're never going to get anywhere else. No, it isn't. We've played in the Champions League. We never won the Champions League. We got to a final. We got diddled out of it by a dodgy handball, but we never won it. So you go into it the next season. Did we get all these top players all rushing to play for our team? No. So the idea that this is going to create this thing that's going to make you the best club in the world is, for me, is nonsense. You've only got to look at them lot down the road who spent 20 years in it, never won it. What did that do for them? Nothing. So for me, it's about the legacy of winning something. If you said to me, do you want us to play in the Champions League? Yes, of course. If we can play in the Champions League, that's great, because it gives you that kudos. It gives you the chance to test against the bigger teams and so on. But if I'm going to play in the Champions League, I want my team to be able to win the Champions League. I don't want just to be there as also runs. I don't want to be like a Celtic or a Rangers or, I don't know, Shamrock Rovers or whoever it might be that gets to play in this competition. Sheriff, for instance, who gets to play in the competition but never got an opportunity of winning it. What's the point? What's the point? You know, I've been able to see my captain lift a trophy. I've been lucky enough to see that on a few occasions, right? There is no, and I'll tell you, there is no feeling like it.
Yeah.
You know, to see your team win that. So for me, the idea of Champions League or nothing is nonsense. But it's just my opinion, right? And everybody's entitled to their own.
What does your dog think? What does your dog think?
Ozzy, what do you reckon?
Well, Lappers put a comment saying that I mentioned trophies and your dog started laughing. He wasn't barking, he was laughing.
He's bored now. He's bored now.
Craig, let's come to you. Comment on screen now from Paul. Top four is best once manager is backed to bring in top class players, and then the trophies will come. Surely the top class players will be coming now anyway, because Antonio Conte is our boss. Surely.
I think it's a massive pull, isn't it? And strategy as well, to be honest. You know, players do want to play for world-class managers, don't they? Who wouldn't do? You know, as far as I'm aware, every player who's played under Conte, whether that be in Chelsea or in Juventus, Inter Milan, they love him. They absolutely love him. And, you know, his record speaks for itself. Why wouldn't you want to play for a manager like that? And I think you're right. I think the trophies tend to follow him wherever he goes, and it kind of goes hand in glove with Conte, doesn't it? I know we expected it with Mourinho, but you kind of expect it even more with Conte. I don't know what you think about that, but I feel like it should. I'm more confident under Conte than I was under Mourinho, and I didn't think I'd be saying that 6 weeks ago. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of the guy. Actually, he's kind of instilled this in me where I didn't believe, and I couldn't believe that how quickly that belief has turned around. He's quite incredible. So if he's done it with me, and I'm just a fan, then what has it done with the people he works with every day? But I think the foundation was laid when he got in Enquiries, to be honest with you, and it's obvious those two are going to be working very closely together. And as I say, I'm very interested to see what's going to go on in January.
Craig, let's stay with you. Comment on screen now. The truth sets free. And as I've said many times, this debate, it always causes a lot of things to talk about. Decades later, people ask how many trophies that you have won, not how many top fours that you've won. Nobody remembers top fours. Trophies are forever, and that is what you play for. Yeah. Let's remind ourselves that Hugo Lloris in his 10th year at Spurs, no trophy. Harry Kane at Spurs, no trophy. Heung-min Son at Spurs, no trophy. They've got to be coming. They've got to be coming.
You would hope so. And that comment on the screen is spot on. Absolutely spot on. You know, we all know that we last won a trophy in 2008. But could anybody tell me the seasons we've, apart from you, Chris, could anybody tell me the seasons we've been in Champions League? Very quickly? No, you couldn't. You'd have to guess. I could tell you roughly how many times we've been in it. 5 or 6. I couldn't tell you, but it's spot on. You remember the trophies, and you know Kane wants to win trophies. As you said, Hugo wants to win trophies with this club. And that is the most important thing, isn't it? I think we're all in agreement there that the trophy is so special. That feeling when you win a trophy, you know, you've got to listen to Ramon Vega when he's sober on here when he comes on. You know, that trophy he won with us means the world to him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, he speaks about that almost as much as his other successes. He's proud of that, and why not? You know, absolutely, why not? He's proud of the fact he won that cup with us. Yeah. So. You know, Robbie Keane, other players that have won stuff with us. It's something you look back on, and you think, as a player, you're going to think, yeah, you know what, I finally won something with my club, and that is going to live with them. So you're right. It would be a travesty to see Hugo go without winning the trophy, and that's why they need to offer Hugo whatever he wants, more or less, because we need to keep that guy for another couple of years, because I think over the next couple of years, he's going to be, when he does leave, he's going to be leaving with trophies, because it'd be a travesty if he didn't.
Well, perfect timing to talk about Hugo Lloris. Of course, he celebrated his birthday today. Leo, let's come to you. Hugo Lloris, as it stands, can talk to European clubs from the 1st of January because he's out of contract at Spurs in the summer. Surely Tottenham Hotspur have to get this deal done and give him a 1 or 2 year extension.
Absolutely, I think. Whenever I always talk about transfers, it's a lot of people talk about what players we're bringing in, but it's also very important what players that we keep. It could be like a fresh signing, and I think with Lloris, you know, he's that player that, you know, even despite the fact that he's 35, he still, you know, has a lot. He can still offer. You know, he pulled out some incredible saves. Today he was literally having tea, but I mean the previous game, he pulled off some incredible saves, which proves to me that he's still a world-class keeper. And I think if we can offer him, you know, something, then to keep him, then we should, you know, give him what he wants. It will be a travesty, as Craig said, if he does go without leaving something. I think for him, he would want to win something at Spurs. I mean, when you've invested so many years, is it 10 years in a club, and then all of a sudden you leave, and the season you leave is when they win, yeah, you know, you're going to feel gutted. So I feel he would want to stay. I think he's going to stay. I think who else is going to come into his place? There's no one else that I can see or would want between the sticks for Spurs. You know, we've got Galini. There was a big talk about him being, but he's not really showing me anything. Who else? Who's England keeper? What's his face? I'm forgetting. Yeah, you know, they would talk about him possibly. No, I still think Lloris is above him. You know, the only keeper that I would say in the Premiership that, you know, that I kind of rate is obviously Kepa, Chelsea's keeper, and probably I was going to say Liverpool's keeper, but I think they've got such a great defense, to be honest, that he doesn't really have to work hard. But I think Lloris, we need to do everything we can to keep him. He's 35. He's probably got 1 or 2 more seasons in him. Levy needs to bring out the book, do what he does. Conte is going to, you know, tell him, you know, give us 1 or 2 more seasons. I think he's going to want to stay. And he's not going to want to throw away a 10-year investment just when we've got Conte in. What do you think?
It's got to happen. I think Hugo Lloris has definitely got to stay for at least another 1 or 2 years. Yeah. And I would love to see him, you know, win a trophy at Spurs. And I just think that, like you said, Leo, Pickford and Henderson and all the other goalkeepers that Spurs are being linked with, I don't think they are anywhere near the quality of Hugo Lloris. So I think that it's got to happen. You know, Tottenham have got to get him to sign paperwork this coming week. Hopefully the deal has already been done, and it's just a matter of days before they actually announce it. Who knows? Lee, let's come to you. Let's get back to the game against Palace today. In the 74th minute, Heung-min Son made it 3-0. Lucas Moura crossed it for Heung-min Son. Sonny taps in, and it just seems Sonny is back to you know, firing in the goals, and it just seems that he is back to his best.
Yeah, I mean, you can never write Sonny off, can you? Because he's always got that in him, and I think his team ethic and the way he plays with a smile on his face is just infectious amongst the fans and amongst the players around him. I mean, for me, the greatest bit of that game at the end of it was when they all went over for his celebration at the end, and they're all doing the silly Spider-Man thing. But the fact that there were so many of them all wanting to be there, all with big smiles on their face and happy for him, just says what he means to the team. And it just shows a whole new level of togetherness that I think has been missing. You know, so, I mean, Son for me, is one of the most important players in the team. You know, we talk about Harry Kane and his goals and so on. But for me, I think, you know, without Son, I think we'd have a big gap there.
Lee or Leo or Craig, can you do the Spider-Man celebration?
I could do the rude one, but not.
There you go. Craig's done it. Craig, let's come to you. Antonio Conte said it's difficult to rotate Harry Kane. I had the possibility to give him a bit of a rest today, but we have got games now coming thick and fast. We're playing in less than 48 hours' time at Southampton, and then, of course, 4 days later at Watford. You know, games coming thick and fast. It was great that he took the likes of Heung-min Son and Harry Kane off and, you know, rested them, if you like. But going forward, where we have got games coming thick and fast in January, you know, we've got the Carabao Cup semi-finals coming up. We've got a big North London derby as well. Do you think that Spurs will go out in the January transfer window to buy a striker so we don't have this issue every single time?
Oh God, I think we think about this every transfer window, don't we? And we think surely they've got to do it this window. I think they should be. Whether they will or not, I genuinely don't know, Chris. Who knows what they've rubber stamped as positions they want to improve on? But they should really. Does he see Sonny as the backup to Kane still, though, as other managers have? For me, we need another striker to, if anything else, just to push Kane. You know, because you can get lazy in your position if you've not got any competition. If you know you're going to be in that team every week, then you know where's the desire to want to be better than your opposing number, if that makes sense. You know, you've got to have somebody to push you, and even play with that other. Same we get Vlahovic, just to push Kane, or play both of them at the same time. You know, at the moment we had the luxury today, obviously, of taking them both off, and that's what he's got to do. He's, you know, he had about an hour or so, good run out, got a goal, great. Because he still doesn't look 100% back to his best. I think we all know that. But we could, you know, if you play him every week, any player every week and every game, especially over the Christmas period, they're going to get injuries, and so that's going to be in their minds, I'm sure, going into the January transfer window. But I think if something comes up, I mean, who knows? They might have had discussions behind the scenes with somebody, and there's so many rumours on Twitter, you just don't know what to believe. And of course, that's going to hype up over the coming weeks, isn't it? It'd be very interesting to see. I don't know. I mean, Dybala's out of contract, isn't he, in the summer, I think, as well? Whether that ship's sailed, I don't know.
Your dream.
You know, well, that's just it, isn't it? I mean, centre forwards, they're the old centre forward, if you like. When I used to play, they're kind of a dying breed, aren't they? The old number 9, and it depends if that's what they want to go for, a proper number 9, or whatever these new positions are that the kids seem to talk about when they play FIFA. You know, it can play anywhere across the front three or whatever. I don't know. Do they want somebody that can play in different positions? They probably do, to be honest. They probably don't want to just go out and get a pure goal scorer, because are they going to play 2 up front all the time? Don't know what Conte's thinking is, but we certainly need something in there. And it comes back to the Danny Ings thing in the summer. Why the hell didn't we go for Danny Ings? We've been over that. How many times we've been over that? You know, it seems crazy, but there you go. It is what it is, and it happened. And be very interesting to see who or if anybody they go for as a striker. I'm sure there'll be many Twitter rumours come this time next week.
Leo, let's come to you on the same point, with Conte saying it's difficult to rotate Harry Kane. Eugene writes a comment now on screen saying that Bergwijn is Harry Kane's backup as shown today. Do you think Antonio Conte could use Bergwijn or Heung-min Son or indeed Lucas Moura as a backup to Harry Kane when Harry Kane does need a rest or gets out, he's out injured?
Well, you know, I've always felt like Spurs have probably played better without Kane. You know, we kind of did it when Kane was injured a few seasons ago, and Son was just banging in goals left, right, and centre. I don't know if Bergwijn is the backup to Kane. I think Son is. I think if Kane's not playing, I think they might put Son up there. Bergwijn doesn't really have the finishing that you would kind of expect for a striker in that position. So I think, you know, we definitely need to bring someone in. We've been crying out for that for many seasons now. This Vlahovic guy seems like a good replacement. He looks big and tall, looks strong, looks like he can finish one-on-one. Players like Bergwijn, whenever he's through on goal, you don't know if he's going to finish, you know. And so we need a player like that. Danny Ings would have been great, as Craig said. You know, a guy that can just, you know, he's good in the air, he's good on his feet, he's good off the ball. So we need a player like that. That Levy needs to bring in January. I don't know who's available. I don't know if Dybala, I think he's more of an attacking midfield, isn't he? I don't think he's like an out-and-out striker, you know. If we can have, like, you know, if you can find like a Lukaku type player, you know, like a beast, If you could find like a Drogba, that would be great. You know, just a good, strong bully in the middle. I think that's what we need that would come in to replace Kane. We've got all the light, fast players on each side. You know, if we're going to replace Kane, we need that type of player, big centre forward, strong, powerful. Doesn't necessarily have to have all that much pace because we've got pace on down the flanks, but someone that's good in the air, someone that can hold up the ball and bring players in. I don't think Bergwijn is it. I don't know who else apart from this Vela-Vilovic guy. Yeah, you know him. But,
well,
yeah, that's it.
Let's talk a little bit about the January transfer window, because of course we are now days away. You know, before the transfer window opens. Leo, you know, feel free to give me any names that you would like Spurs to buy, but really I'm interested in what positions that you think that Tottenham really need to strengthen, because Lee gave a very valid point earlier. You know, not one of us have said on this stream, or you know, not one of us has said on previous streams when Christian Romero has been out, that we have missed him. You know, you'd think that you'd be missing, you know, arguably the best defender at the club, and none of us have mentioned him today or on previous streams. So, what positions do you think that Antonio Conte will really want to strengthen in January?
Well, definitely striker position. We need a backup for Kane, 100%. I think we need to address that. That's very important. Regarding the fact with the Romero situation, I think it's because the team is defending. We know the structure is there as a team. You know, we know what we're doing defensively as a team. So I think we're not. The back line is being protected by the work rate that we're doing in the middle through Skip and through help me out. Højbjerg, yeah. So I think a lot of the defense is being done to protect the back line. So that's probably why we're not talking about Romero and like that, because we're actually defending as a team and we're kind of solid. I definitely still think we need to improve the defense though. So, you know, we need a couple center halves. We need that. So I would go there. Midfield now, again, it's tricky because I love Lucas Moura. We have to keep him in. Kane is there. Son is there. If we're talking about bringing in a midfield player, the question is who we're going to replace in that middle. Is it going to be Skip or Højbjerg? And can both of them play? Does Winks have a future there? If we bring in, we're going to have to sacrifice someone, especially if we're going to be playing that formation. So whoever we're going to bring in is going to be a creative attacking player that is either going to be substitute for Skip or substitute for Højbjerg, or is going to take the place of Winks, which means Winks is going to be put further back. You know, it's a tough one, you know, because like I said earlier before, it's like, as much as I'm happy to be in this situation, I really want a lot of these players out, you know, and to be replaced.
Who do you want out, Leo? I wanted to ask that. Who do you want out? Because, of course, we've seen in the last 8 weeks, as we've said, you know, a number of players have vastly improved under Conte. At this stage, who would you like out?
Okay, in the midfield, I'm not convinced, just like Lee said, I'm not convinced with Ndombele. I think he runs because he has to run, not because he wants to run. I think that's a big distinction there. He just doesn't seem like a player that, doesn't matter what team you play him in, he's not a worker. He's I don't think Conte is going to get a tune out of him. He's just not, doesn't have it in his makeup. So I think, you know, I won't mind if he goes, you know, and we getting someone like Kessie in there to replace him. Sanchez, as much as he's improved, you know, I think, you know, if he goes, I won't cry. Definitely Doherty, he's not done enough for us. So I think I'm sure a lot of would agree. You know, if he goes, no one will shed a tear. I think we'll probably have a party. And you know, I think that's pretty much it as far as I can remember. Unless, you know, we've been playing so well now, I've forgotten who to hate. That's the problem. Who do I hate again? I can't remember now. But those are the ones that have come to the top of my head anyway.
Lee, let's come to you with the same question. Positions that you think that Antonio Conte will really want to strengthen. And I know your list is probably completely different to what it would have been 8 weeks ago of the players that you would like to see leave Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Leo's right. You know, if you'd have asked me this, well, you did ask me, but you know, if you asked me this sort of several weeks ago, I think I said we needed a striker, we needed a creative midfield player, we needed 2 centre backs, we needed a right back. You know, that was my list. Now, if you're looking at it, you're going, right, okay. So I still think we need to replace or add to in a lot of those positions, but I think it's not as urgent on current form. But let's not forget, we haven't really come against the real big boys to see where we are progressing under Conte. So for me, the standout one for me has got to be a creative central midfielder. I think we desperately need someone in there. The players that I'd like to see go, I think on Ndombele, I'd like to see him go because he's just so disappointing. He can. There's no point in him doing it every now and again. And if Winks can get in the team and Skip can get in the team before someone like of the quality that Ndombele's got, then that tells you something about Ndombele, right? So for me, I think he needs to go. He needs to go back to France or somewhere where he can chill out and just run around when he feels like it. Dele, I think he's clearly still not in the manager's thinking in longer term. I think he probably needs to go somewhere on loan or something like that because I just feel like he's got the ability to drop back to his performances that he's been putting in, rather than keeping it up. Is he going to be able to, how long is he going to be able to keep this up before he kind of goes, well, you know what, I'd rather go and do a bit more modelling or have another game of FIFA or whatever. So them sort of players. Doherty, absolutely, I think we need to replace him because I'm still not convinced that Royal is finished, the finished article. I think he still needs pushing to improve. I mean, he's only a young guy, and I don't think Doherty as a backup to him is a good enough backup that's going to push him along. So those would be the areas I'd be looking at if it was me. But as you say, several weeks ago, I'd have replaced half of the team.
Well, sorry, could I just say something? You see, this is the problem. And this is probably what Levy's going to be thinking. Oh, well, you know, you look what you've done such a great job. It's not that bad. And this is what I didn't want. Even though we're grateful that we're here, it's like even us as fans now are not too fast if we keep the players that let us down. You know, we've been convinced.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
and
you can't blame Levy if Levy's like, well, because he's the one that has to spend the money.
Well, your mate Levy.
My mate Levy.
But the thing is that, though, Leo, we know Antonio Conte in previous jobs. He is not stupid. He is a ruthless manager who demands the absolute best. And if he is getting 95% out of a player, he will probably end up getting rid of them because he wants 110% every single minute of a match. And I think if he sees any part of someone's game, then they're not giving their best or they're simply not good enough, I just think they're going to be out the door. I just don't think there's going to be any mucking around. No sentimental value about players. I know all of us fans can be very sentimental about players. I think a lot of us are sentimental about players like Dele Alli. We look back on the great times for Dele Alli. Are we ever going to see that player again? It's going to be interesting times ahead. But I think that we have got a manager now, who makes real bold decisions and the winning mentality. That's exactly why we've got this manager in. So I just think that is going to be the difference. I agree.
You're absolutely right. I think with him, he's going to be the difference. You're right. With us, like Levy saying, oh, we don't need it. To him saying, no, I don't care how good we are. We need to get these players in, or we need to get these players out. I think it's him, and you're right. And that's why it's giving me hope. So I'm happy, man. I'm a happy guy today.
Craig, same question to you. What positions do you think that Conte will want to strengthen, and any players that you would like to see head out the door?
I would imagine he'll want a centre back right down the spine of the team. I think I've said before, centre back, creative midfielder, Eriksen replacement. How many times he said that? And a striker. I just think looking at it, there's not to say that you shouldn't look at other players if they become available in other positions. I mean, you never know what's going to come along in the transfer window and what clubs get offered. But it does speak volumes for me when I look at that, looking at players going out. I think Doherty probably I'd send on his way, but I wouldn't shed a tear if Lo Celso and Ndombele went. And they're two of our, if not our two most expensive signings. Is that right? I mean,
do you know what, Craig? I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't shed a tear at all. And that money could be put, even if you're just getting one player in, an Eriksen, if you like, to replace both them. I think I'd be more than happy with that, Chris. You know, and it's a shame because I had high hopes for Ndombele, not so much Lo Celso because I didn't really know him, but from what I'd seen of Ndombele, I was quite excited, and now I'm not, to be honest. I wouldn't be bothered if he went at all. So what does worry me, though, just seeing that comment about Hugo, if Hugo gets injured, that's when I might be a bit worried because of the backup in Galini, you know. So would he look in the January transfer window at getting in another goalie? I don't know, because if Hugo gets injured, I think we are in a little bit of trouble. Not as in like panic stations, but I'm not that confident in Galini. So they might look at that. I don't know. But if Lo Celso and Ndombele go, I wouldn't be bothered at all. But I think he will be looking at a striker. Definitely, out of all those positions, I think he will be looking to get another striker in.
I think that's a great shout, Craig, about backup for Hugo. I hadn't thought of that, but I think you're right. I'm not convinced about Galini either. So I think Hugo we definitely want to keep hold of, and we need a backup there, as you say, because if he does get injured, which has happened, you know, who got in there to back it up. So yeah, it's a great point, mate.
Can I just ask you all very quickly, Faz's question here? Do you think we should and will renew Hugo's contract? Personally, I think yes, we should, and I think yes, we will. Craig, you?
Exactly the same. Yes, we should, and yes, we will.
Leo?
Absolutely. I mean, Craig just made a very, very important point. You know, I think that's probably the most important signing of January is the Hugo release contract. Because if we don't sign him, then all the hard work that we're doing in buying any other defense and stuff could be compromised with a dodgy keeper. Because that's literally the last line of defense. A bad tackle, Lloris is the type of guy that could probably win a penalty shootout for us, so I think he's the most important thing. I think we should and we will.
Lee?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, if you go back to, as much as it's painful to say it, without Hugo saves the other day, West Ham would have gone through. So, they're not the team they used to be. They are. We can laugh, but they are fairly decent. I think Hugo saves us a few times. So I think yes, we should offer him a contract. And fingers crossed. Yes, he will sign one.
Lee, let's start with you on this next question. Want to talk a little bit about the Carabao Cup. Of course, we beat West Ham in the quarterfinals on Wednesday, and now we face Chelsea. Chelsea away in the first leg, and then Chelsea at home in the second leg. How confident are you that Tottenham will go through to the final against either our North London rivals, Arsenal or Liverpool?
Oh, how great would that be? The idea of playing either of those in the final would be great. Because I'd love to get one over on the Scouse, to be honest. I would say I'm 80% confident that we can get a result over two legs, especially with us having the second leg at home. I think that's important. You can go over there as long as we don't get spanked over there. You've got a good chance coming back to White Hart Lane with a crowd behind you, and it'll be a banging atmosphere as well. I'm going to stay confident on it. I'd say about 80%.
There was a lot of talk about the game possibly being one leg, but of course now the fixtures have come out and it is going to be two legs. Do you think that there would have been any more advantage for Tottenham if it was only one game?
Only if it was at home. Only if it was at home. I think that one leg away over at Chelsea, that's a tough ask. I mean, they're a decent side. It's a painful thing to have to say, but they're a good side, and we don't have the greatest of records against them. So, for me, two legs, Conte effect, a little bit of belief going into it, especially if we have a decent run up to that point. Then I think that with a good win behind us, we might be able to do it.
Craig, how are you feeling about it? Are the trophies coming?
Yeah, they are. They are. I can say that with confidence. They are. Just going back to the definitely a two-legged affair now. Are the dates out yet then, Chris? Presumably they are, and I've missed that. So how does that fit in around their game? I think they're playing Liverpool, aren't they? Was it the second they were supposed to be playing Liverpool? Chelsea?
We play Chelsea on the 5th, and then of course we've got the FA Cup game. And then we've got the second leg at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then I think we've got Arsenal in the next game. So it's going to be, some very, very hard matches. Games are coming thick and fast, this month and of course in January. It's going to be very, very hard. And as Antonio Conte said about rotating players like Harry Kane, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Hugo Lloris, all of our top players are going to need to play in these matches, aren't they? It's going to. We are going to need to put our best possible 11 out if of course they're not injured.
Yeah, that's right. And no, the more I was thinking about it, I'm sure Chelsea have got Liverpool at the start of January as well, haven't they? I'm sure they have. So, they're going to be spread pretty thin, aren't they? So, they've got to look after the likes of Lukaku and that. So, who actually looked pretty good against Villa today. I don't know if anybody caught any of that game, but he did look pretty good. I think Chelsea's always going to be tough, always going to be a tough match. But, we've done it before. We can do it again. And I think Conte is going to have them believe. And if you want one man on the planet who knows anything about Chelsea, it's got to be Antonio Conte. So, we've got to believe, and the players have got to believe that we can do it. And I think if we come away from Stamford Bridge with a 0-0, then we're in with a shout. Or even if we're 1-0 down, we've got a chance at the second leg at our place. I think that's the most important thing, is playing the second leg back at our gaff, to be honest.
Yeah. Leo, before I ask you the same question about the Chelsea game, Richard is saying, is that Leo from the streets? Now, the previous time that you were on this channel, we didn't talk really about your involvement with the streets. What was it like being a part of the band?
Oh man, it was incredible. This was like early 2000. Wow, so long ago. But it was amazing, man. The social media wasn't really popping off then. I remember I got so excited when Skype came out. I was like, oh my God, Skype! But it was great. You get to, we toured the whole world, did some incredible gigs, met amazing people, as you do when you're on tour. It's a dream, It's somebody that, does singing or performing, and you get to do that for a living. It's a dream, getting to, perform at the Brit Awards and, all the festivals and all the TV shows. It was amazing, man. And all the guys are just, it was like a beautiful family. And the fact that a lot of people ask me, would you have preferred it if it was around this time as opposed to then? I'm happy it was then, because like I said, we didn't have social media. When people came to watch us, there wasn't phones up in the sky like this. People were actually experiencing the show, and there was a real connection there. And I love it. I think about it all the time. But yeah, it was great, man. The albums were great. The songs were great. Just quickly, I remember one time I was at the gym, and this big guy came up to me. He was like, "Oi, are you Leo?" This me. Are you Leo? This me. Yeah. Bruv, you saved my life, mate. Yeah, you saved my life. Yeah, I was in jail for like 15 years, mate. He had me like this in a headlock. And I was like this. Yeah, man, you saved my life. That tune you did, yeah, it was big, big, big. So anyway, yeah, listen, my cousin wants to do singing. Yeah, what's your number? And I'm like, it's incredible because, you just meet people and you don't know if they're going to kill you or if they're going to hug you, right? So I literally had to give this murderer my number, because I'm thinking, if you've gone into jail for 15 years, it's either fraud or murder, and you don't look like the fraud type. You look like the murder. So take my number. So yeah, but it's great, man. You know, doing this music thing, especially doing something that you love. I'm sure, Chris, you know, doing this, it's not work for you, is it? You're just living life, enjoying, you know, going to the games, watching games, and pretty much it. You know, I think if my advice to anyone, if anyone has a dream or any passion, they should just go for it and do it with all their heart, and just don't focus on the money. Just focus on just trying to do what you love and enjoying it to the max. And then somehow the money will come some way or somehow. If it doesn't matter, because you're living your life. But yeah, that's it.
Lee, I hope you don't mind. There's a question on screen here for you. What is your fondest memory from touring?
Oh man, I have so many. I have so many.
You've worked with a lot of famous names as well, haven't you?
Sorry?
You've worked with a lot of famous names as well.
Yeah, I mean, we did loads, man. I can't even remember. Now you put me on the spot now. Fondest, let's start with fondest memory. I think what's my fondest memory? I think probably doing the Radio 1 live. I think it was how many million people listening, and Mike was off his face. And we just somehow had to pull the gig, do the gig, but it was an incredible gig. So that was fun. I don't even know why that's fun, because it was actually quite scary performing there. Other fondest memory, can I get back to? I've got so many. Yeah. I've got so many. I'm going to come back to you on that. I've got too many great ones.
Well, Leo, let's stay with you. Just same question as I asked Lee and Craig. Chelsea away first with the Carabao Cup first leg in the semi-final, and then of course we finished with the home leg. How confident are you that Tottenham will go through to the final this time?
Well, who said 80%? Was it you, Craig, that said 80%? Who said 80% confident?
Lee.
No, it was me. I said that.
Mate, I don't know what you're on. 80%. Well, that's tough. I mean, the fact that's 2 legs, it gives me more confidence. 80%. I'm not sure. 80 seems a bit high for me. I think I'm slightly confident. I'm slightly confident only because we have Nuno, 1. Only because it's 2 legs, 2. And
no, we ain't got Nuno. We ain't got Nuno.
Nuno.
Yeah.
Confused. Only because we have Conte for sure. So he's like the 13th man. And then also possibly because Chelsea may have other priorities that we might be able to do it. So I'm kind of like 80% too high. I would say 60%, I would say. God, is that too low? 60%. Yeah, I'm slightly confident. 60% is good.
Yeah. Well, I'm confident. I think we're going to go to the final. I really do. You know, the Antonio Conte effect. Got to be.
Who would you want? Arsenal for sure.
Absolutely. I think it would be so historic. And I tell you what, if we went to lift that trophy after beating West Ham, Chelsea, and Arsenal, I tell you what, none of those rival fans could ever fan for us ever again. You know, because we have put every single one of them out and lifted that trophy. And to lift a trophy at Wembley in front of the Arsenal fans, in front of those Arsenal players, I tell you what, it would probably be one of the best days of my life.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have to be positive.
Lee, let's come to you. Comment on screen now from Simon. If 2 or 3 players have to leave to fund one top-class player who Conte wants in January, who should we let go?
On Ndombele. Simple for me.
We get much money for him?
Yeah, I think there's clubs in France maybe that might take him back. You know, PSG or someone like that. Surely someone's got to want him. Someone's got to want him. Oh no! Listen. The guy is an absolute quality player. It's just not suited for the Premier League for me. It's just not working for him. So someone in a maybe the Italian league or the French league or somewhere like that. I think he would be a real success over there. You know, I really do. So you know, but for me, he's just not. I just don't feel it for him. He's not going to work for us. I don't think. I mean, I'd like to be proved wrong, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah,
agreed.
Last question for you all. Of course, we've got Southampton in less than 48 hours' time. They actually beat West Ham United away 3-2 today. They are currently in 14th place in the Premier League. Yes, they do get battered everywhere they go. They've played 18. They've won 4. They've drawn 8, and they have lost 6. Craig, are you expecting Tottenham Hotspur to win again in the Premier League at Southampton?
Yes, I am. And I think I'm going to go for a 2-0 Tottenham win, if you're asking for my score prediction as well. I do expect us to win as well as Southampton did today. I think we should be looking to put teams like Southampton away, with all due respect. And I think we should go there and get another clean sheet and a 2-0 win.
Brilliant. Love the confidence. Leo, you feeling confident again?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, more so confident than the previous question. I think we definitely should beat Southampton. I think they've lost, Danny Ings and stuff like that. I don't think they're as strong as they were last season. I think we could get at them. Definitely. This is one of the games where it's a testing game for us. If we win this game, then it really solidifies as a whole, the whole team's robustness. It's like people might expect us to lose it and they'll say, oh, it's typical Spursy. You go and do all this great work and you get thumped by Southampton. But I can't see that happening because we have Conte in charge. So I'm confident with this game. I would say 75 to 85% confident we'll win this game.
Do you know what, Leo? In the last 8 weeks, I think that term Spursy has only come up once when we lost to Mura away in the Europa Conference League. I hate that term Spursy, and let's just keep winning because that term Spursy, I hate it. Lee, how do you feel about that term Spursy?
Yeah, it's one of the things you hate, but you just have to respect it because it's been such part of our sort of our being, hasn't it? It's just, I hate it, but it's one of those things I've had to live with. So
we can't get away from it. I think it's to be not called Spursy, we have to win every single game. If we lose to the final, Spursy. If we lose to Chelsea, Spursy. If we lose next week, Spursy.
Yeah, that's right.
We can't get away from it. The only way we can not be Spursy is we literally have to win. That's when we'd put everything to bed. Can I ask a question? Because is that Domino's Pizza tweet, right? Now this is my opinion on it. I just laugh at things like that. I thought it was really funny. But some people really
don't know. Please explain what happened.
Right. Yeah, sorry about that. You might not all have seen it. What happened was Domino's Pizza a few days ago, a week ago, just before Christmas, wasn't it? They put out a tweet and it was a picture of basically an empty trophy cabinet. And I can't remember the wording on it, but they were taking the mickey out of Tottenham. Can you remember the exact wording, Chris? Can you remember what it said?
I don't remember the exact wording, no.
It was some, it was taking the mickey, the fact we got an empty trophy cabinet. This was Domino's Pizza real account. It wasn't like a fake account, it was a real account. And people were getting very waspy and salty about it, saying, and I think Crackers was saying, and Michael Bridge was saying, "I'm going to go get a Papa John's instead." Personally, I thought it was always quite funny because they'll all shut up once we do win a trophy, and there might be a big trophy cabinet with just one trophy in it, but we'd have won one. So that's just my opinion. I thought it was quite funny. I do love a Domino's, to be honest with you, but I will be taking my trade elsewhere for a little while, to be honest, just to prove a point, right? So I just wondered what everybody else thought of it. I didn't think it was the cleverest marketing, to be honest, but then again, it got a lot of hype in the chat, and other teams probably was ordering pizzas from Domino's on the back of it. And Arsenal fans have probably bought shares in Domino's now. I don't know, but I just wonder what everybody else thought of it.
I think things like that is fantastic. I mean, I'm a Spurs fan through and through, and so we can laugh at ourselves. I think if anyone gets angry about that, then come on, man, relax.
Yeah.
I think Deluxe Paint did the same thing as well with the Spurs. And I thought it was hilarious, and I think I kind of like the fact that brands are kind of having a personality and are kind of like getting involved with current, affairs and things like that, things that's happening. I find it quite funny, and I like the banter. Bring it on, because like Craig says, you know, we could put it on them when we win. So it's all good. Bring it on, because we will give the same back.
But Leo, you are painting your house now in crown paint and ordering Papa John's pizzas, yeah?
Absolutely, absolutely. Put it this way: if Spurs win, next time I'll order no, I'm not even Papa John's. I'm gonna get a Domino's pizza.
Yeah, we all need to do that. If we win a trophy, Domino's, tweet pictures of it.
I'll get Domino's pizza. I won't even spite them. I'll spend my money with them. I'll say well done, and I'll buy some deluxe paint for the hell of it.
Lee, same question to you. Southampton, are you going to the game? Because of course you're part of the South Dorset Spurs group, not very far away from you guys.
Unfortunately, some of us have got to go to work, so you know, I don't sing for a living or do podcasts for a living. Some of us have got a proper job. So, and I have to say, if Leo's fondest memory of being out with the streets isn't the groupies, then there's something wrong somewhere, and he's just killed my view of singers.
We could write a whole book on that. You know, I thought let me just keep this PG. I didn't really want to throw all the debauchery on Chris's.
It's never PG when I'm on. It's never PG when I'm on.
But listen,
I just say Domino's can get stuffed. Domino's can get stuffed. I'll go to Star Pizza down Ashley Road. End of. That's it.
Well, this is it. You know, put it this way, it's a good thing. Not everyone had phones back in those days. That's all I'm saying. You know, it was good times.
Well,
you're not telling these stories about Mike Skinner, are you? And get him on the blower, find out what's going on. What you've been up to.
Well, I know, Lee, you're more of a Chinese person because the Chinese was getting delivered last time we've done one of these podcasts. So,
right.
But Lee, you confident for the Southampton game?
Southampton are a bit hit and miss, aren't they? They're kind of all over the place. So I am confident that we will get the 3 points over there. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet because we never seem to be able to keep a clean sheet with them. So for me, I'm going to go for a 2-1.
So before sorry.
Go on, Leo. Go on.
I was going to say, can we just get everyone watching just to drop a like right now? I think everyone really needs to show some love and drop a like right now while they're watching. You know, we can't have all of us doing it. People need to be, if you're watching on now, everyone just drop a like right now. 1, 2, 3, boom. There we go. We need to do that.
True pro. Actually, Leo, you might as well plug your YouTube channel as well. I'll give you my Instagram. See, people can hit me on my Instagram. It's at Leo the Lion Graham. Just come and say hello. We'll talk everything Spurs. Maybe I might tell you some secret street stories. Yeah.
I'm on it. I want them stories.
Yeah.
Photos are great as well.
Photos are great. Yeah.
Leo, what are you up to at the moment? Any more music coming out?
Yeah,
soon?
Definitely. I mean, I'm working on a new TV show that's going to be dropping early part of next year. It's called Home. It's called the House of Afro Music. I'm going to be the host of that. It's kind of like do you remember Soul Train? Do you know Soul Train? Kids might not know it. You don't know Soul Train. But Soul Train is like a massive show that was in the States. It's kind of like a Top of the Pops stroke Jules Holland type show with dancers and stuff. So I'm kind of doing that, but it's for Afro beats and Afro house music. So I'm going to be the host of that. And then also I'm going to be starting an academy to help artists who want to get into the music industry, just with coaching and stuff like that. So that's for 2022, but more for that once things are more solidified.
Vandal, thank you so much for your comment. It's very, very well received. Thank you very much indeed. Lee, tell everyone about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm not as exciting as doing a Soul Train, and I remember Soul Train with Shalimar. That's how old I am, right? Right. But yeah, on YouTube, Leader Dorset Spur, come over and listen to me having another moan about Spurs and talking positively for once, which makes a change.
Yes, absolutely. Craig, have you started up your own YouTube channel yet?
No, I just come on here and talk rubbish every now and then, Chris. I'm quite happy to do that. I'm not sure I could compete, to be honest with you. But yeah, that does it for me. I can come on here and I really enjoy talking about Tottenham and really appreciate the invites every single time I'm on, and love reading everyone's comments as well. And I don't know how many people are viewing tonight here on Boxing Day, but it's great to see so many people still, you know, just relaxing, watching us for experts talk about Tottenham, and good to see everybody's views and opinions, and to see everybody happy on Boxing Day. And their record as Tottenham on Boxing Day in the Premier League's been pretty good, hasn't it? So it's great to keep up that tradition.
That's a very good point, actually, Craig. You know, I can't thank everybody enough for all of your comments tonight. Very positive, and you know, great to see. And it's great to see all of us smiling, you know, on these podcasts, because over the last couple of years, some of the podcasts have been very, very difficult to do. You know, these last few have been an absolute pleasure doing them, and there's been quite a lot of banter as well in them. You know, so that probably wouldn't have come if we'd have lost these types of games. Lee, tell everyone where they can find you, what your channel is again.
So I'm at Lee the Dorset Spur on Instagram and Facebook and all that old nonsense. I'm there everywhere. You won't miss me.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lee. Really appreciate your time.
No worries.
And Craig, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Always a pleasure, Chris. Always a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me on again, and Merry Christmas to everybody watching.
And Leo, thanks so much for coming on again. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on your channel. I really appreciate it. Really, really enjoy it. Lee the Dorset Spurs, pleasure, mate. Good to chat with you. Craig, as always, you know, you bring in the flavors. So thank you guys for having me on this great podcast during the Boxing Day. Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for all your time. And as I say, thank you so much for everyone watching. If you don't subscribe to the channel as yet, please do hit that subscribe button. Happy New Year, everyone. And let's hope that Tottenham Hotspur can get another win in a couple of days' time. Until the next video, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.